The Harlem Globetrotters remain a name synonymous with basketball and fun.
After a few games in their founding hometown of Chicago, the Harlem Globetrotters traveled about 60 miles west of the city to play their first road game on January 7th, 1927. Venturing past cornfields and barns to the rural Illinois town of Hinckley, population 650-ish, the Globetrotters faced the Hinckley Merchants. Though the Merchants topped the Globetrotters 43-34 that day, Globetrotters founder Abe Saperstein and his squad earned enough money to travel to their next game. And the Globetrotters, well, they haven't stopped globetrotting since.
Now, on to the show.
Yeah, isn't it amazing when Michigan can keep this game to a 19-foot, 9-inch game inside that three-point line, it's all there.
The Chucker, 19.9's resident historian here on the 19.9 podcast. And I'm joined today by Corey Thunder Law, who is now in his 10th year with the Harlem Globetrotters. A former standout at High Point University, Thunder is known for his 44-inch vertical leap and trick shot repertoire, which has helped him capture 11 Guinness World Records. We talk with the Virginia native today about his transition to life with the Globetrotters and his decade-long run with the squad. Thunder, thanks for joining us here on the 19.9 podcast.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, man, we're thrilled for the time. Now, I think you're in the midst of a world tour right now with the Globetrotters. So where do we find you today?
Right now, I'm in Illinois, Champaign, Illinois. So we have a show here tonight. I'm going to be heading to practice as soon as we're done with this podcast call, and it's on
at
to
the
the
beautiful
next one.
State Farm Center, I imagine.
Absolutely.
The Illini could use some Harlem Globetrotter magic right now, that's for sure. So cool, man. So, we are a brand that celebrates basketball history. We're always interested in people's basketball origin stories. So tell us a bit about when you first got introduced to the game and how did your love for the game kind of develop and sprout?
So I got introduced to the game when I was about 9 years old. I started going to the basketball courts in Portsmouth, Virginia with my father. We would play. I would watch him play. And then there was some guys there that, that would just mess around with me a little bit. And then I, had an opportunity to join the AAU basketball team. And it just, I'll be honest, I wasn't very good at all. It was definitely some trial and error. And then I can remember, getting really passionate about it one summer. And then I got cut from the basketball team in 7th grade. And that just made me work harder, honestly. I don't come from a big athletic family or athletic background. But, had long talks with my mom and my dad telling me never to give up because I kind of wanted to give up at one point. But the inspiration came from them and the confidence they instilled in me. And then 8th grade came and I could, was doing something everybody else couldn't do, which was dunk. And that just gave me even more confidence. And I'm like, it's on from here, baby.
Setting the stage for your basketball entertainment life, right?
Absolutely.
So, you kind of roll that. I know you have a nice high school career there in Virginia, and then you enjoy a nice career at High Point University in North Carolina. I know that you completed your career at High Point in 2013. You were second on the school's all-time rebounding list, despite being a wing. You weren't a post player, you were a wing. That's impressive. Yeah. So, now, soon after leaving High Point, though, you joined the Globetrotters. So tell us a little bit about how that opportunity came about.
So, leaving High Point, I wasn't for sure what I was going to do. I knew I had hired an agent, but I wasn't for sure I wanted to go the basketball route, I'll be honest. And but that's what everybody wanted me to do. And then I got a call from the Globetrotters, and his name was Al Clarker. He told me, he know I'm a high character guy. He's been keeping up with me. He saw me in the college slam dunk contest, and he thought I would be a great fit. I thought it was a prank call or something because I didn't even know the Globetrotters was recruiting players, and I didn't know. It wasn't on my radar. And I went home and told my mom that story, and she just instantly went into a story about how the Globetrotters had so much impact on her life growing up. And she told me a story about Curly Neal when he came to her class in 7th grade. And just the look on her face, man, I'm like, this is cool. And, so I entertained it a little bit more. And next thing you know, they told me they had an annual draft and they were really serious about me. So in 2013, I was one of the players, college players, one of 2 college players that was drafted. Still had to do a tryout. And then next thing you know, man, it was just fit for me. Like when I told my friends and family about him, everyone knows my character, my personality, how I am off the court. And they always would tell me, man, the Globetrotters was made for you. This is something you can really have a career with. And I'm glad I listened to him.
That's pretty sweet. So your mom knows of the Globetrotters, but
Yes.
what did you know of the Globetrotters? I mean, were they just something out there in the basketball universe that you knew was out there?
Growing up, I had a Globetrotters. It was like a Globetrotters basketball jersey. I had a Meadowlark Lemon basketball jersey. I remember getting it younger, and I knew they was like a really cool, fun team. And I would always see commercials around the same time, around March, and they would always come to Norfolk, Virginia. And I never had the opportunity to see them play. But God knows that, I had the opportunity to be on the team. But so the only thing I knew about them was I knew they were still touring because I would see commercials. And I knew a bunch of the guys had bald heads. That's all I knew. Bunch of tall head, bald black guys. That's all I really knew about them at first, So, and then it just went on and just, it's so much rich history that I went on to learn. So definitely appreciate the moment, the time I have with them.
Talk a little bit about that history and kind of how you've become a part of this nearly century-long history here in a bit. But you mentioned you got drafted by the Globetrotters, but then you have to try out. What's that experience like?
Oh, man, when you go to
I've never been in a Globetrotters tryout, so you have to forgive me.
It's crazy, so I don't want to give too much of it, but so you go to these tryouts and I have a 44-inch vertical. And it's just, you don't think everybody has it. But when you go to these tryouts, everybody has this unique skill set. And there's people jumping higher or jumping just as high as me, and it's crazy. And then if they can't jump, they're making 10 half-court shots in a row. And if they can't do that, they just dribbling the ball. So everybody just has a unique skill set. And then everyone has a great personality, which is so cool and unique to see. Everyone's the funny one in their family. Everyone has a unique talent. So, and it's just a beautiful room doing a Globetrotter tryout. And it's just amazing. I'm glad I was one of the ones that was selected because the tryouts aren't easy. It's a lot of competition there, but I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, it's as much a basketball skill as just someone who has an outgoing, energetic personality. It's clear you do. So tell us about the transition. You're selected for the team. Tell us about the transition to becoming a Globetrotter and kind of embracing its brand of sports entertainment. It's obviously still basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're still playing with a round ball. There's a 10-foot hoop, all that good stuff. But the Globetrotters have a style all their own. So how do you kind of get baptized into this world and learn what the Globetrotters are all about?
It's definitely like a culture shock, I said, because, the Globetrotters, we're good basketball players first. We're good entertainers and we're good people. I had the good basketball player and I was a good person. But that entertainment aspect, it just, you have to really learn and be a student because you're entertaining the masses.
The Globetrotters were an important part of sports. I mean, we've got to remember that for a long, long time in this century, the Globetrotters were the only team that anybody knew.
Though Saperstein set the Globetrotters' original direction, a man nicknamed Goose is the one who transformed Saperstein's vision into something otherworldly.
And after the game was over, I wanted to go to sleep at night. He'd be practicing all this stuff, keeping me awake. He was a great roommate otherwise, but he worked hard.
Known as the Clown Prince of Basketball, Reese Tatum brought a new level of energy to the Globetrotters' swelling fame.
There's 3,000-4,000 people every night, more that were entertaining. And you just don't know how to do that until, you're just thrown in the fire. And my thing is, I remember I had a conversation with, his name's Hammer. He's our showman. He's one of the showmen. This is my second year. I would get a monster dunk and I'm hitting the floor and I'm loud like I'm in a real college basketball game, so competitive. Sometimes I could be scaring a little 4-year-old that's coming to see fun and she's like, why is he so angry? So, and then other things, the showmanship that comes, getting a slam dunk and, messing with someone in the crowd. So it just got to find a character. I like to say you just got to find a character, and I can't tell you how to find a character. I just knew mine was a lot of trial and error. I made a lot of mistakes. It was a lot of mistakes that I made, but luckily I developed into something, that's a fun character and one of the showmen of the team.
And before we talk about kind of that development of kind of developing, who you are as Thunder, out on the court, out when you're entertaining folks, I want to step back and just talk about your first game. You put on this iconic uniform. What do you recall about the first game? Where was it? What was it like? What do you remember going through your head?
Okay,
so
I remember I was in Madison, Wisconsin, and Big Easy. So Big Easy and Flight Time were one of the guys I did know because I would see him on Amazing Race a few years ago, a few years before I joined the Globetrotters. So that was another reason that kept them really relevant in my mind, because I was a fan of Amazing Race. But I remember Big Easy was our team captain showman, and I was just nervous, and they were just throwing all crazy jokes at me because I was the only rookie on the team at the time, and I was nervous. And I run out of the tunnel, and I'm just looking like, and the first thing that came to my mind going through that smoke was the story that my mom told me about Curly Neal coming to her school and the impact he had. And that's just one of the first things that came to my mind. I'm like, my goal was to just try to change one person's life that day. And then every day, and that's been a goal every single day every time I run out of the tunnel, if I can just impact or change one person's life, I'm good to go. Job well done. And that's my goal every day.
Cool. Great goal to have. Now, the Globetrotters, they have dunkers, they have trick shot artists, they have dribblers, they have the showmen. So tell me a little bit about how you went about establishing your own niche on the team, because this is a process, right? You mentioned trial and error. How do you develop kind of like, hey, this is what Thunder's about? How did you kind of go about developing that and tell people what it is?
Okay, so my niche is I'm known for my long shots. I'm a showman, but my niche is the long trick shots that really got the name for myself. Before I even played my first Harlem Globetrotters game, I got a call from my PR team saying they're thinking about doing some Guinness World Records. Do they think I can make a full court shot? I'll be honest, I had never tried a full court shot at the time. I just knew I was strong and I was ready to start making money. So I'm like, of course, absolutely, I can make money.
College coaches don't like you trying to have full court shots.
Exactly, right? I've never tried a full court shot ever. So his name was Brett Meister, and at the time he reached out to me. He said, we're thinking about doing Guinness World Records. And I'm like, so I'm shooting a couple of days. I'm shooting full court shots, and I've like probably made 1 out of 100. I'm being honest. So I'm like, of course, I'm confident. So he texts me and says, yeah, I just got the record is 109 feet. And I'm like, I'm just shooting at 94 feet and barely making it. But I got the confidence. I said, yes, I can make it. Fly me to Phoenix, Arizona. So I get to Phoenix, Arizona, and they setting up the court, and I see like this, like I didn't know how big it was going to be, I'm gonna be honest. But I see Guinness World Record people there, and they all dressed in their blue blazers, and they got the measuring sticks and
it's intense. They record everything. I'm
like, yes,
and then precise.
Then she's proper. Hello, Thunder. Today you're attempting the Guinness World Record for the world's longest basketball shot. And I'm like, all right, whatever, it's cool. So I give it a few practice shots, and I tell her I'm ready to roll, and I'm shooting it straight ahead, and I kept missing it. I'm like, can I change my angle? She was like, the shot's going to make it longer. I'm like, okay, I just want to change my angle. And I shot it at the corner, and I threw it, made it 109 feet. And I'm excited. My teammates are excited. The couple teammates that were there that was excited for me. But a couple days later, when they released it, I started getting a bunch of calls. You're on SportsCenter. You're on Good Morning America. It's just everywhere. And on the first day, it has like 2 million views. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. So I mentally started thinking what I can do next. World's longest backward shot, world's longest under the leg shot, world's longest blindfold shot. And it just was something that was just hitting. Every year I was setting the Guinness World Record. And that's how I found my niche.
And it's amazing. So many of these things you never practiced as a kid, right? You're practicing your Euro step.
Not one record I set, I never practiced. And after record 4, I believe I started, it was either 3 or 4, I started doing like polls on Instagram, on Twitter at the time, to see what's the next world record should be. And that's how I got the blindfolded. That's how I got the under the leg shot. And this was just from the fans. The world's longest sitting shot. He was just from fans giving me ideas what to do.
Cool. The Globetrotters have such engagement with their fans. I mean, that's just central to kind of who they are and what they're all about. So, you've traveled, you've had this decade run with the Globetrotters. You've traveled to more than 30 countries with the Globetrotters. Talk about being on a world tour. And I know you have 2 daughters, I believe, too.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
yeah,
listen, man, that's a challenging life.
Oh my goodness.
So talk about the challenges of this life, but also a little bit of the joys of the life too.
The challenge, you missed it. Being away from home, missing birthdays, leaving Christmas morning. Every year for the last 10 years, I've left Christmas morning, and it never gets easy. It's heartbreaking, but my daughters have become accustomed to it, and we celebrate Christmas the day before. But with that being said, I leave Christmas morning, and it's a blessing to be some other kid's Christmas present. First day, every time I get on Instagram on Christmas Day, I get DMs from fans of their kids opening a Thunder jersey for Christmas. Their kids opening Harlem Globetrotter tickets. And, as I'm getting on that airplane, I watch those videos, and it tells me my purpose. It lets me know my purpose here in life. So, but that is one of the tough things, being able to leave my family and miss those things. But being able to travel the world and do what you love is a blessing, and then have your family support what you do it's an amazing feeling. So I'm just glad I'm able to do what I love, and that's traveling the world, putting smiles on so many people's faces.
And let's give a shout out to the daughters. How old are they now? And are either of them involved in hoops?
They really love soccer, but they're Maya and Macy. Maya, she just turned 11. Macy, she'll be turning 8 in March. So the girls are growing fast. They're really tall. Their mom is very tall. They're 6'2". So Maya, I'm 6'4". Maya already comes over my shoulder at 11 years old. She's going to be pretty tall.
All right. Well, High Point's going to start recruiting, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Someone, soccer players, though, a lot of former basketball players.
Them. Play sport, I support them. Whatever they want to do, I support them. Just make good grades and listen to mommy and daddy and everything.
Ultimately, that's what we want for our kids, right? We want them to follow some kind of path you love, right?
Yes.
So you mentioned this great thing about, your passion, your purpose, putting a smile on kids' face, outside of that, what else do you kind of most enjoy about being a part of the Globetrotters and its storied history?
Oh, the history. I mean, my thing is I go to a lot of these places and I be at what's going on in the world. It's a lot of people who honestly never came across anybody that looks like me. Like I go to these small towns and they've never encountered a black guy other than what they see on TV. So I always want to be that person, that good representation of a decent black man or whatever. And I try not to take it there, but I experienced some pretty crazy things here on the road with the Globetrotters. I'll be honest, going to these small towns, and I always just want to have a good representation of what black excellence is, and that's something that keeps me motivated. And they can see, whatever they see on TV or whatever the thoughts they have, I just want to break those barriers, and that's something the Globetrotters has done for many, many years ever since their existence.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wrote a piece for 19.9 about the Globetrotters' history, and started in the late 20s, amid the Depression, but they're going overseas in the 1950s and
absolutely
completely breaking geopolitical tensions. Crazy history, but such an uplifting force, and shows the power of sport too. So,
absolutely.
And along with that Globetrotters' rich history, as I mentioned earlier, the Globetrotters are closing in on 100 years now. How do you think the Globetrotters fit into the future of basketball and basketball culture?
Oh, I mean, to be honest, Globetrotters is basketball culture and pop culture. We're innovators of a lot of things, and that's what we're going to keep doing, innovating and breaking down barriers. And that's a unique thing about us. We're so accessible, first of all, and fans can touch, see us, and we're everywhere. We cover the whole globe. I went to 21 countries just this year, and played basketball. And one thing I've learned that the Globetrotters was the world, this was the Globetrotters, especially the last 2 years. So just keep being innovative, creating and coming up with new things. The Globetrotters got something, a four-point shot. I'm telling you, in the next few years, the Harlem Globetrotters will be a part of something more history, because I think the NBA will pick up that 4-point shot. And we've been doing it since almost 10 years now. So we just keep being innovative and, just passing the torch down.
That's cool. Well, hey, some great stuff there. And I want to, before we get out of here, Thunder, I want to close out the show with some quick run and gun styled questions. So I hope you're ready. Okay.
All right. I'm ready.
Your basketball inspiration as a kid?
I'm from the 757, born and raised, Allen Iverson, nobody else. And if he was 6 inches taller, he'd be the greatest basketball player to ever touch a ball.
Pretty dynamic. No question.
Yeah.
I'm cooking some Georgetown gear today.
Okay.
Most memorable moment from your career at High Point?
My most memorable moment of my career at High Point. Oh man, okay. I remember we were down 2. We were playing against Campbell University.
The Camels.
Campbell. And
the Campbell Camels, right?
Yeah, the Campbell Camels. Yes, there you go. Okay, so Campbell. Good. You know your stuff. So, and I remember I got an and-1, and we were down. We got an and-1, took the lead, and I remember beating on my chest. And it was my daughter was in the student section. I had Maya at the time. And someone was holding her up like baby Simba, and I got a picture of me pointing to her, and she's pointing back, and that was just, I'll never forget it.
Any fun experience with any of the big boys in college basketball? You ever play at Durham or, any UNC? You're there in North Carolina, but any experience with the power players that sticks out?
Let's see. Let me see any experience other than getting. I remember I took a bad loss. It was Georgia, so. We played University of Georgia one time, and they beat us bad the day before Thanksgiving. We were ready to go home. Coach is like, it was bad. I'm going to be real with you. So that wasn't a good experience, but we did have Wake Forest come to High Point and play. and we lost on the last second shot. They beat us, we lost on the last second shot, but that was probably one of the most memorable. Playing at ACC school, we played quite a
At
few.
home, too.
Yeah, at home. So that right there in itself. Them coming to our small little gym and playing us was crazy.
Had to be kind of rocking at High Point that day when the Demon Deacons came to town. All right, so you've been to 21 countries this year, over 30 countries in your career with the Globetrotters. I'm curious about a favorite venue or a unique venue you've played in, because the Globetrotters have played in everything from dance halls. I mean, this goes way back. Dance halls to, I read a hollowed out swimming pool back in the day. So just what's the most unique or favorite venue or distinctive venue you played at?
Unique, it wasn't. So we did a military tour a few years ago, and we were traveling we did Afghanistan. I was in Qatar, but we went to Djibouti, and it's in Africa. We went to Djibouti, and I played on all dirt. I mean, it was for our military. And so that was a very unique game for me, playing on all dirt. And it was just like, and we put on the show as if it was 40,000 there. And it was, it was just our military soldiers. So that was the most unique. But one of my favorite places to play, I think it's called the Whizzlink. But it's in Madrid. And when you go to Spain, I'm telling you, their fans are like no other. Hands down, my favorite place to play in the world is in Spain. And it's in Barcelona or Madrid. The fans is 15,000. They stand up the whole game, shouting. It's like a soccer match, and they're just standing up yelling the whole game. So that's always a memorable place to play.
Is there a very different vibe between the U.S. places you play versus overseas?
Absolutely. So the best way I could describe it, we still get great fans here in the U.S., but they come and they're spectators and they having fun. If something good happens, they clap, and it's back to just spectating. But like I said, overseas, they're upstanding. They feel like they're a part of the show, and they just having a great time, and they just really come and let loose a little bit more. I think here in the U.S., we're just kind of reserved and a little more uptight. Over there, it's not like that at all. They come in to have a good time.
All right, man. Best part about traveling with the Globetrotters?
The best part, my favorite is, the relationships I built with my teammates. I think that's my favorite part. Like I said, I have a family at home, but like last year I saw a lot of my teammates more than I saw my daughters, I'll be honest, just from traveling and having those makeup games. I played 195 games last year. So that's a lot.
Over 21 countries.
Yes. Yeah. I personally did 109. And so the locker room conversations and, the camaraderie we build as a team, it's going to last forever. I met some, I had started off with teammates. Now I have new family members. And that's how I like to look at it. So it's definitely the relationships I build with my teammates, guys like Speedy and Carl, and, the list goes on. So it's definitely a beautiful thing.
All right, cool. Final question for you, Thunder. Will you ever be able to get the whistling tune of Sweet Georgia Brown out of your head?
I would never be able to get it out of my head. But the great thing about it, I really love it, though. So I don't mind.
It is one of the catchiest tunes around, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. We had Teddy Riley remix the song a couple years ago. I heard Snoop Dogg. I got a chance to be in the studio with Snoop Dogg and listen to him rap over the beat. So it doesn't get no better than that, man.
You think about, all these things, all these potential career opportunities for basketball players. And as you were, growing up in the game and thinking, maybe I could play, everyone obviously aspires to the NBA, but then you think, well, maybe I can go overseas. The Globetrotters isn't on people's radar. Here you are living that life and living your best life in that respect.
Absolutely. It's definitely a blessing.
All right, cool. Well, let's end it there, Thunder. Let you get on to practice, get on with your day. Thanks for sharing your time with the 19.9 podcast.
Thank you.
Wonderful, Joe. That's wonderful. Oh, come on, let's hear it, man. Come on, man.
They did so many things. I appreciate 19.9 and the Chucker bringing these ideas to the forefront again. I can't wait to see what all the stuff looks like, because I think it's fun to represent these stories while I'm walking around. It's a billboard, not just for something that I love, but for the ideas and the legacy that the Globetrotters brought forward. Thank you for listening to the 19.9 podcast. If you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, make sure you do. And while you're at it, leave us a rating or review. 5 stars only, like the basketball camp. We also have links to all of 19.9 social media so you never miss a release. Until next time.